Now, criticizing a woman's weight, threatening to use Bill Clinton's infidelities against Hillary Clinton may not be the most effective strategies for winning over female voters. But I've got to tell you, a number of Republicans I've spoken to said this week say this has been such an unpredictable election year. They're waiting until we get more polling later this week to determine just how much of an impact this week's events will have on the trend of the race. Chris?
Little chance that fat shaming winds up being a positive in any contest. Sarah Murray, thank you for the reporting. Let's bring in Republican Congressman Chris Collins of New York. He's co-chair of the Trump campaign's House Leadership Committee. And we have Democratic Congressman Luis Gutiérrez of Illinois. He supports Hillary Clinton. Congressman Gutiérrez, this has been projected as an issue of sensitivity for Latinas and Latinos. Why? Is it the Miss Good Housekeeping comment that was made back then? How do you see this?
So I see it as kind of the intersection of Latino and women for Donald Trump. I mean, yes, he refers to her as Miss Piggy. This is a 19-year-old vulnerable young woman away from her parents, right, in New York City. A very vulnerable young woman. And this is the way he treats her. And then he says, well, you're Miss Housekeeping. That kind of work is the only work that Latinos do. So there's a kind of intersection. But you know, Chris, for me, it's even broader than that. Because as I looked at it, I said to myself, wow, that happened a long time ago. So some people say, well, Luis, that happened a long time ago. We should just put that away. Let's look at Donald Trump today. So I kind of thought about Megyn Kelly. And then I thought about Fiorina and the kinds of attacks that he made against them. It's a continuum. Things haven't changed. The difference is that Alicia Machado has found her voice, and Fiorina is an independent, powerful woman, and so is Megyn Kelly. And Donald Trump didn't fare very well, as he didn't fare very well with another very independent, self-assured woman, which is Hillary Clinton. So I think as you look at this election, you need to look at Donald Trump and his relationship with women and the way he speaks to women and about women.
Congressman Collins, love having you on the show. I do not envy your position of being in cleanup mode on a morning like this. There are plenty of things to discuss in this election, but Trump forces this issue by how he responded to it. He could have just said, look, that was a long time ago. I shouldn't have said it. I apologize. I wish her well. This would have been over. Instead, he doubles down. He goes on television and says, hey, she gained a lot of weight, man. You know, that's how it is. And he basically makes it worse. Why?
Well, I think you have to step back and see the desperation in the Clinton campaign, that she's bringing issues like this up from 20 years ago, which, by the way, there's no indication that Mr. Trump actually said the things that have been reported that he said.
He didn't deny saying them.
There's no indication that he did. The points are,
but he's never denied it.
He
denies things, Congressman. He could have denied it. He hasn't. He doubled down.
It's the way that Clinton brings things up. She can't talk about trade. She can't talk about the defense against ISIS. So she brings up issues like this, which are not the important issues. We need jobs. We need to move this country forward. And it just showed the desperation in the debate as how she brought something like this up from left field. And as we move forward today and other days, her comments on trade, she doubled down saying NAFTA was thus the best trade deal ever. That's going to cost her big time in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, certainly in my areas. Her weak response on trade is what mattered in that debate, not bringing up something like this, as you said, from 20 years ago.
So, Congressman, take that criticism on, that you don't want to take on what matters in this election. So the Clinton campaign is just going to a smear campaign on Trump, albeit with actual true allegations about, not allegations, true facts about what he's said in the past, but that's not what the election's about. Why make it about what he said?
Because you saw him get rattled, Chris, when Hillary Clinton brought it up. He said 3 times, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that from? It was almost like a ghost from the past had arrived on the scene, right, at the campaign. He knew what he had said to her. He remembers fully well what he had said to her, and he knows that women are watching. So as we move forward, everybody understands that people have chosen a position. Yet there are women in the suburbs, Republican women in the suburbs, that are looking at this campaign and are undecided. And I have a huge feeling that they walked away being really decided about not having Donald Trump, because I have to say, as a father of 2 daughters, as a husband, as a son, I want to make sure that I have a president of the United States that respects women.
Congressman, do you believe that Donald Trump could fit that bill, that he could be a president who respects women? That does matter.
Oh, just look at the way Donald Trump has promoted women and treats women in his own organization. That's where the rubber hits the road. The women that work for Donald Trump hold some of the highest positions in his company. He pays them extraordinarily well. That's been confirmed again and again. So it's actions that matter, not Miss Clinton's words, who's never created a job for anyone other than her daughter, Chelsea. And so as the women were watching this debate, what they heard was a very liberal, progressive Hillary Clinton. She's going to raise taxes, which will destroy jobs. And that's going to be the biggest concern of the women in America, the safety of their kids, but also the job opportunities moving forward. And Donald Trump hit that out of the park, especially when Hillary Clinton doubled down on NAFTA, which destroyed jobs in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New York.
Congressman, there's no question that NAFTA is very controversial. There's also no question that it was President Bush's creation. He didn't get it passed. Clinton did get it passed. So there's obviously shared blame for that. But let's take it as an unqualified bad. I'm giving you that point. What did you hear Trump say in that debate as a remedy for it? The only idea that we distilled from that night for him to bring jobs to America, which he says he does, he will do, he says it all the time, is keep companies from leaving by passing a tax that a president does not have any ability to pass. That's your job in Congress. There were no other ideas offered for how to make jobs in America. What is his plan?
Well, the plan is very simple. You stop the cheating by Mexico and by China by erecting tariffs that will actually
But the president doesn't erect
field.
tariffs. He comes to Chris Collins and says, hey, you're a lawmaker. Can you get a tariff? You guys don't want the tariff. That's why it's not in place.
No, I can assure you that a Republican Senate, a Republican House working with President will follow the lead that Donald Trump has set, which is to make sure that our manufacturers have a level playing field, which they don't today, and that if we have to erect the tariffs to make that happen, we will do that to get our jobs back.
Paul Ryan is for TPP, and he is against a VAT, a value-added tax. He is the Speaker of the House. Where does this confidence come from?
Paul Ryan is not the President of the United States, and when Donald Trump wins this election in a resounding fashion, and his key issue is trade, bringing the jobs back, leveling the playing field, I can assure you Congress is going to support the President of the United States and his ideas, supported by the United States voters who elect him, to make sure we do get these jobs back. I have no doubt in my mind that we will do what's necessary to get the jobs back, including tariffs against Mexico and against China.
Congressman Collins, Congressman Gutierrez, thank you for making the competing cases this morning on New Day. Appreciate it.